Welcome to this episode of Locked In. In this episode, we're going to be going over what I think is one of the coolest builds I've ever put out on the channel, my custom-built, custom-painted drop bar mountain bike. So let's get into this video. I'm going to be going over a quick history of the bike and kind of what happened with this project because it started on the channel and then kind of disappeared for a really long time. We're going to get into the individual components that I used because essentially this build was my Cobalt Warhawk and my Cobalt Diablo mixed together. I made a video because I did sell that Cobalt Warhawk gravel bike. Then I'll weigh the bike in its current format and discuss possible future upgrades and other options I will be doing in later videos. So first off, a quick backstory. This is a carbon frame set from Cobalt. I did custom paint it, and originally it was a mountain bike build. Started on the channel, and I actually did finish the build and rode it for a couple hundred miles. I want to say just 150, 250, so not a lot. And it really just sat. And that was mainly because when I went mountain biking, which there were some great trails where I used to live really, really close. Problem was I was like going with somebody because of just honestly safety issues, just in case I crash or something happens out there. And so I just never rode it that often. And to be honest, I'm not a great descender or mountain biker. And since I didn't have people to teach me, I didn't feel like I had the skill set for a lot of the trails that I rode. So I just didn't ride it very often. Then what happened is after me and Mario actually completed Grinduro, which was a huge accomplishment for both of us. After the ride, you can see this clip here where we actually talk about basically building something like this.
We did it. And now a descent back into town. That was a gravel ride into a mountain bike race.
Next year, I'm totally bringing some kind of like front board. It was hard. It was very, very hard.
Yeah, drop bar mountain bike for sure.
Because honestly, that ride, I was in great shape. My legs were obviously cooked after that kind of ride, but my upper body actually was the most sore the next day just from the chatter and essentially what we thought was 60% of a mountain bike race. And so we wanted something with actual suspension. And so that's kind of where this dream came up. And then a long time later, here we are. Let's go through a build breakdown on basically what this build is, what parts I've modified from my Cobalt Warhawk and the Diablo, and just the overall thoughts. This bike is currently fully functional, minus the rear brake that I need to have a shop bleed, because apparently that's just something I can't do correctly. But besides that, I'm really excited about this build, and there will be future ride impressions and thoughts. So let's get into the parts list. This originally started just like the original Softail build, my Cobalt Diablo, which is a 29er XC style frame set. I'll make sure to link Cobalt in the links below if you want to see all the geometry and head tube angles and things like that. Now, obviously, you can get this as a build from them or a frame set, and they do also offer a carbon suspension corrected fork with 3-pack mounts and without 3-pack mounts on their website, and that is something that I will be also doing in a future video to add to this bike to have a bike packing lighter weight setup and then swap it out with the suspension fork that I have. So that leads me into what fork is this? Now, this is a RockShox Judy. I believe it's a silver with some SLRL. I'm not great with shock names. This is a 120 mil fork, but this frame can work with a 100 mil fork as well. Honestly, I got this at the time. It works okay. I don't have a lot of mountain biking experience, but there are some quirks about it that this is definitely something I'm still learning the process of riding and set it up how I like it. Then we go into the cockpit. This is essentially the same handlebars and shifter setup that I had on my Cobalt Warhawk, which is the Ritchie Beacon bars. Now, this is originally a hydraulic Apex 11-speed shifter. Now, I did a review on the 12-speed ratio conversion kit and still running flawlessly. This kit's got thousands of miles on it. I love it. It makes it so much more convenient to work with modern mountain bike cassettes, especially coupled with their rear conversion for a mountain bike derailleur. So essentially you can have mullet level gearing with a mechanical system. I really like that about it, and it's been flawless ever since. Now, on the other side, you're going to notice this is not a matching shifter. This is a S900 series front shifter for SRAM. Now, what I did was I've seen a video on it, and I will be trying to produce my own version because some of them are kind of hard to see what exactly to do. But essentially what you do is you remove the spring system. I don't know, there's probably a more technical version of that, and actually run a shift cable into my dropper post. And that allows me to use this paddle as a drop bar lever. So instead of having one that mounts to your handlebars here, or there are some that mount to your drops, this I thought was a lot cleaner and just it's all right by your hand, because I just think it's more convenient. And honestly, I think it just looks sleeker and a great way to repurpose these shifters, because typically they are pretty affordable because most people go one by and sell these off. So great budget way to do it. After that, currently I have just a 90 mil generic Uno stem on there. I'm still dialing in my fit. The fit numbers are correct, but because of the geometry of this bike, it just kind of feels different. So I might experiment going possibly shorter. So I'm kind of figuring that out as I get more miles on the bike. That's why I always go with just a cheap stem. Now this will be swapped out with one of my Redshift units. Obviously when I pick out the stem length, when I put the carbon fork on. So that way I still get some added compliance. Now, if you want to see a video of suspension stem and suspension fork together and see how that feels, let me know in the comments below. I don't know how to feel about that yet. So moving on to the back, we have my Granite Design side-loaded cages. I have my Rocky Mountain Toast little, basically this is going to be my saddlebag that mounts in the frame. This was actually custom designed for my Warhawk, but it fits in here. Not as perfect, but damn near close. So I just love how this allows me to free up the dropper post and not have any rubbing issues. Now, I did ball out on the crank set mainly for a few reasons, and that's for aesthetics. And I obviously wanted to keep this build somewhat light, and these XX1 gold edition ones. And obviously the gold matches the theme with the gold accents on my chain and jockey wheels. And for whatever reason, no one wanted this color, so I got it at a pretty good deal, and it dropped a pretty good amount of weight. I have my Bontrager clipless pedals on here, obviously color matched as well. This color edition, unfortunately, they don't make anymore, but I really like it. Then we have my P&W Coast post with a specialized power saddle on here. Now, I really do like this post for a few reasons. One, they come in multiple sizes. I have it currently in a 27.2 with 100 mil of drop, and this has 40 mils of air suspension in it. So that's where I came up with the soft tail idea, because essentially I have some rear compliance built in. I really like it. It worked great when I was testing out originally, but when I put more miles on it, I'll definitely make a video, because I think this is the best gravel bike dropper out there because of the compliance that you get for those extra big hits that would normally kind of buck you if you're seated in the saddle. After that, we have our drivetrain. Now, currently, the gear ratio on here is a 36 front with a 10-42 Garber cassette, which has been flawless for the thousands and thousands of miles I've had on it, especially for a lightweight version like this. I have a waxed 12-speed KMC X12 chain with a SRAM mountain bike mechanical derailleur with the conversion kit that you can get through Ratio to make the pull ratio work. Again, been flawless. And then I have some gold AliExpress jockey wheels on here. Then we're going to talk about the wheel set. Now, if you did watch the original series, this is what really changed and really dropped a lot of weight. When I was working at a shop, these are the Bontrager Cove Pro wheels, which I thought was the best bang for the buck, weight and performance-wise in the new range, because they dropped a lot of weight over the wheels I originally was going to put on the bike. And I'll put the exact weight on the screen right here, but I believe these are going to be in the low 1,300 gram range, and they're 6-bolt. So that allowed me to pair these with my Ashima 180 lightweight rotors that I had. So currently I have some Pirelli Scorpions on here. These are the tires I ran in Catalina. Great for mixed condition. Now let's weigh the bike. Keep in mind, I'm going to do full functional weight minus my emergency kit. So this bike has bottle cages, pedals, my little baggie here, and a bell, and there is sealant in the tube. So basically this is full functional weight minus water bottles and your toolkit. Let's see what it worked out to. Really need to get like a luggage strap for this thing. All right, and I'll do both. I got flamed for my Imonda video, so I will do both kg and pounds. All right, so first pounds, like I said, with sealant and fully functional weight, we are at, better than I thought, settle in, 23.85 pounds. All right, so this is our final weight. We're at 23.85. Sub 25, I'm actually really happy with. There's definitely some room for improvement that isn't super expensive if I wanted to lighten it up. Main thing would be if I swapped out the tires like I mentioned before. I've been looking at the Continental Race Kings. Those are about 200 grams each lighter than these Pirellis, so that would shave almost a full pound off of this just in tires. So that's definitely something I'm looking at. Plus, like I said, this tread's a little aggressive for honestly where I ride. And realistically, the only other thing I would definitely want to upgrade on this later just for more adjustment, to be honest, but also there's a weight savings, is the front fork. This is a pretty low budget, just right above like entry-level air shock from RockShox, and it is pretty heavy. So eventually down the line, when I ride this more, I definitely would like to do that just to shave the suspension weight on there, because obviously my carbon fork is going to shave a good amount. So I think with a So to get this into the 22-pound range with just tires, I think we could almost do like real close to 20 pounds. And if my math is correct, when we do the carbon swap out, but the stem will be a little heavier. So yeah, we'll see what that looks like. I'll make sure to put another video out with that to see what the weight savings really is. So I hope you like this video. Make sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Links are in the description below. Turn notifications on so you can make sure you don't miss out on any of these new videos. Got a bunch in the works. I got a bunch of live stream ideas that I want to be doing as well. So make sure to follow me so you can see what's coming up next to see if you can join in. And with that, thanks for watching this episode of Locked In.
Let's get locked in today. Like the toy.